Greetings and wholeness, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Love in Action, Deconstruction, Junction podcast, where we cover all of the topics loved and lovable. I'm Dr. Flo, online coach and mentor. Not telling you what I heard, but what I know. What I know is that you're loved and lovable. You've always been loved and lovable, and you're going to be loved and lovable for the rest of your days. I run an organization called Love in Action Network, where we encourage, equip, and empower the time, talent, and treasures of bold dreamers and bold lovers like you. One of our chief architects and co-hosts, amongst many other things in our network, is Tara Praolo. Let the people know who you are and where you are hailing from today, as the folks say.
I had to make sure that I went on D&D for a second. I was not on D&D. I am Tara Praolo. I am your resident Black, biracial, multi-passionate musician. I talk about the issues that nobody wants to talk about and push you to do the same. Somebody on Threads, I don't know where they found it, but somebody on Threads the other day was like, what does white facing mean? I see it in your bio. And I was like, I don't think it's been in my bio for over a year, but like, okay. So anyway, if you have that question, you can ask it now and I'm happy to answer. I'm excited to be here. If you are a person like us that exists on the planet of Earth, or I suppose if you exist on any other planet, we would love to know that you exist on other planets. If you're a person that exists on another planet. And you look at the world and you're like, wow, I need to talk about this. We would love to have you as a third, fourth, fifth, sixth person on this pod, where we deconstruct everything from religion to politics to just the things we see out on the interwebs, like the internet fights that are super, super pointless. And most people need to go touch grass, but we would love to put your name there in whatever way you would like to participate. Or if you would like to participate on a different part of the pod and or on Daily Boost, you can do that as well by visiting our website, lovedandlovable.bio.link. Excuse me. lovedandlovable.bio.link and live chatting or emailing us and talking about, letting us know what you're there for. Yes.
You can also thrilled as always to be able to chop up the things with all of you all. And so hope that you enjoy our time together today. Like she said, there's an open slot available for all of your thoughts and your expression on the planets. Yeah, planets. Because, you know, if there's someone who wants to come from Saturn or Venus or Mars, and I mean, the way that things have been looking for the last few years, we probably would get a co-host from Venus sooner than we would get them from the neighborhood. People act like they want to be seen and heard, but sometimes when the rubber meets the road, the cat gets their tongue, their kneecap, their big toe, and everything.
Right.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think people like beat their chest about wanting to be seen? And I can't. When my podcast comes out, and then 20 years later, you don't ever see a single episode. What's up with that?
Well, I think so. I shared. Yeah, I think you saw it in my stories. I shared something from some opera company. I think it said it was talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion in opera. Like the second slide, which is what I shared to my stories, was like, if you're a company that is just attempting to be politically correct or not get something wrong, then you're already in the wrong, right? Like you're already approaching it completely wrong. And I think that there is a massive amount of people that just don't want to get it wrong. And because they don't want to get it wrong so bad, they don't do it. I mean, how often have we talked about, the idea of perfectionism and how perfectionism stops us, or how, this campaign might not go exactly the way we want. It might not get whatever XYZ outcome that we want. So then we just don't do it. Right. Because we can see, I mean, that's my thing. Like if I see the ROI written on the wall and it's zilch, I'm like, okay, peace. Right. But I'm fulfilling my own prophecy then. Right. Because if I don't try, if I don't put it out there, then I'm of course never going to get any ROI from it because it stays in my brain. And I think that's a lot of what like people want to feel. I don't believe that people want to feel miserable. I think people want to feel successful and joyful, and they simply don't allow for their own unique sensation of success to be the answer to that happiness, right? Or to be the answer to that joyfulness. They instead are miserable because they're trying to fulfill somebody else's version of success or capitalism's version of success or yada, yada, yada. And they are, sorry, y'all, I think I got a burp again. Or they're doing that in a process of trying not to be wrong, right? Of trying to just make sure that everything is just so, right? And that just doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
I know. I'm working on a new song called I Meet You There. And it's based on the poetry of Rumi. And in that poem from the 1200s, he says, beyond the field of right doing and wrong doing, I'll meet you there. And I think that whether it was our parents or our teachers or our influences in childhood, whoever taught us that there was a right way and wrong way to do things, especially things that are not harmful, they really did us a disservice, because a lot of people are trying to measure up to like this internal metric of like not wanting to be wrong or not wanting to look stupid or not wanting to look unintelligent. I mean, the list goes on. And it's like, unintelligent to who? Stupid to who? Not capable to who? You know,
if it's yourself,
not right to who?
Right. If it's yourself, good thing you can fix that. And only you can fix that thought. You know, like, because that's the thing. Like,
and the likelihood is that you're going to do it, quote unquote, wrong the first time anyway, because you don't know what you're doing.
500 times.
Right.
Right. Like I told Flo the other day, and this is, I don't know. I'm not going to say it's less pressure because it felt pressurized to me. I was scrolling through TikTok, and TikTok finally fed me this Black girl who was in a classical music program and was asking for a community for Black musicians. And I said, hey, like, I don't necessarily have that community, but I am working on blackening the canon. And I like rephrased, I typed out the comment, deleted the comment, typed out the comment again, deleted the comment, scrolled past the video, thought about it again, said, okay, just go put the comment, type the comment again, deleted the comment. You know, like, it took me like 3 or 4 tries because I was like, okay, like, I don't want to offend this person or like step on their toes because of the way people feel about biracial people and da 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 da. And like, you know, there was a bunch of Black musicians in the comment section that were like, yeah, we need this space, da 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 da. And so anyway, so I had a little bit of fear, and then somebody came back at me and was like, I have an MM in piano performance, and you are talking about the Germanic canon, and da, 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 da. The brown people have their own canon. And I was like, MM holder as well. And yes, that is the canon. But you know what also exists in that canon? Black people. Okay? They just don't get performed. And it was, and the owner of the account, she deleted and blocked the other person and made a pretty snide remark back to her. So that's how that went. But if I had never tried, guess what? I would have never known this person, you know?
Never known the person and wouldn't be putting yourself out there. Stay Fit with Sean this morning over on Thread said, when you check off too many positive boxes for people, they have to create a negative narrative about you to make themselves feel better. To me, same thing applies for putting yourself out there. Expect that when you put yourself out there in the ways that you want to put yourself out in the world, people are going to create a negative version of you so that they can feel better about the podcast. They're not doing, the dreams they're not chasing, the friends they're not making, the things they're not growing. Expect that. And I had many therapists, plural. They were like, everybody's a fan, and expect some negative reaction to you being shining.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like, which is probably another thing that people are afraid of. It's like when I put myself out there, I'm going to get a negative reaction. Someone is going to call me wrong.
Right. Someone is going to disagree. Someone is going to tell you that you're not who you are.
They're going to dislike you. They're going to throw a tomato.
It happened 2 weeks ago on this podcast that somebody told me that I wasn't who I am.
And it's like, who are you? Who are you? I don't even know you, stranger.
I don't even know you, girl.
How am I supposed to like hold your opinions to heart about me when I just met you day before yesterday? Cheers.
And literally never met that person, but yes.
Once again, if somebody called you up on the phone and said, you don't know me, but I think you're fucking ugly, do you really want to care?
I don't really want to care. No.
Do you care?
I may. I don't know. That's never happened to me. I mean, well, but I mean, comments happen, and then I'm like, oh, maybe I am ugly, you know, or maybe I am not this thing that I say that I am, you know.
You gotta get clear in these times, because there's always going to be some opinion or some person thinking they know the book of you better than you know the book of you.
Right.
You are the master of your fate. You are the captain of your soul. As long as you're not doing anything harmful or hurtful to anybody, like I told and tell the network all the time, the people that hang around with me aren't robbing banks. They aren't stealing lollipops from kids. They're not running people off the road. And the list goes on and on. As long as you're not harming anybody, you know, doing your best to put yourself out there, drinking your water, minding your business, maybe coffee if you need to stay up like me and not fall asleep, you know, then go and live your life and don't let anybody judge you about it. It is what it is. Now, there is one person that we are judging, though. It's the person that's the subject of the first slide today.
Y'all, this was going to be Snap. Last week we had a deck, but then we didn't do Deconstruction Junction because we didn't do Deconstruction Junction. So it was going to be talking about Snap, but I believe that most states have funded Snap now. I believe that that is true. That does not mean that people don't need help. I got
funded once partially, and last week sometime, and then they gave me the rest on the 18th.
Yeah. So, and that's not to say that people don't still need the help. In fact, I made a morning yap talking about that like the complacency is coming, like y'all, like the government reopened and now you're all like, okay. And we'll talk about this too, because I brought this, but like, oh, it's just going back to normal. Like everything's funded again. But just because people are on food stamps and proverbially getting help from the government does not mean that they don't need help in other ways. And it doesn't mean that we shouldn't help food banks and help families that are in need, right? And people that are in need. So just keeping that front and center, which I know Minnesota is doing, because the highest yesterday in Give to the Max Day, the nonprofit that raised the most money was a food bank. They raised well over $700,000 yesterday. So that's pretty cool. But we are going to talk about the Epstein files, even though they are not as important as SNAP benefits and keeping people alive, because this was the big news in the political field this week. So what happened essentially was that Trump changed his tune and said Republicans should vote to release them. And so the Republicans did in the House, and it passed without one person voted no. And I really hope they go search his computers, because wow. And then I don't remember his name, but we looked it up. Flo and I looked it up during co-working. And then it went to Chuck Schumer held a vote, like somehow unanimously, which is coming on one of these threads that I'll read you, was able to get all the Democrats on board, and they did a vote. And so the Senate passed it, and it went to Trump's desk, and Trumpykins signed it. So the files should be released at some point, you know. But if you want to go to the next slide, I have a couple little snotty blurbs about it. So the first one is from Glad Daddy On, I think. me reading these Epstein emails and realizing that these ain't even the actual files. These are just the emails. Shonda outdid herself when she wrote the 2025 season of Scandal. And I just thought that was funny. The Epstein files are not a joke, y'all. There are a lot of people that were victimized. There are a lot of people that were harmed. But this Papa Pope picture is just, if you watch Scandal, you know. Okay. And then the other thread here is Sarah Watson from Sarah Watson 42. And it says, it's amazing that Chuck Schumer was able to get unanimous consent from the Senate until you remember how many men in that room don't know what consent is. So those are my Epstein file thoughts.
I think Epstein I don't think he's actually dead.
I don't think he's dead either. I think he's like, maybe Dennis Rodman isn't dead, but I feel like he's becoming an alien. But I also don't think Hitler's dead. I don't think Osama bin Laden's dead.
Right.
I don't think any of these people are dead. I think maybe Hitler's dead now, but I don't think
there are people who
40s
whose names we don't know who are hanging out in that same place that Martha Stewart went to.
Right.
There's a bunch of people where we don't know where they are. And they mean, I don't think that he's able to like roam freely on the planet and be seen by a camera. But could he be in a bunker somewhere? Could he be in Area 51?
Mayhaps.
You know,
although
where they got these. I'm sorry.
There. I think there's actually aliens in Area 51.
A portion of it. I wigged out the whole grocery store the other day when I talked about how that red striped plane leaves the Vegas airport every day, flies off the radar into a whole part of the country that nobody knows about and can't see. We know about it.
Stranger Things.
And then at the end of the day,
Stranger Things.
A group of people get on a plane in Area 51. The dot magically reappears on the radar, and then they land and go to their cars.
Do you believe in the Bermuda Triangle?
Not in the way you say it. But the Bermuda Triangle? Not really.
Do you believe in Atlantis?
Like
the city of Atlantis.
Like that's under the water?
Yeah.
No.
Like, do you believe that Okay. All right. All right.
But once again, like, now that I don't over-index my opinion anymore. There was like a time, like 10 years ago.
Epstein is in Atlantis.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure the fuck he is. like that.
With Biden's body, you know?
I don't think he's dead. And I think that people in power know that he's not dead. Because if I had 600 million laying around, I would smuggle myself out of any space. People can be compromised for $20. You don't think he can hire enough people? Asada Shakur lived in Cuba until she died. Are you kidding me?
Right. I don't think he's dead simply because, like, I don't think there would have been this much hullabaloo releasing the Epstein files if he was dead. Because, like, who cares? But, like, if he's alive, he can still blackmail people. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's what the whole thing is. Like, I think there's a bunch of rich, powerful people, including Bill Clinton and Donald Trump, that have been blackmailed over and over again by Epstein. And the reason that they're so scared of the files is because Epstein is alive. Or at least the like B16 of Epstein, you know, is alive.
My question is, why are we centering the files and not just naming the people. Like, there are people alive, like that group of women that were at the press conference. There are people alive who are so-called keepers of justice and lovers of freedom. Why have they not just gone on their live streams and just read the names and be done with it? It's the cat and mouse of it all, and the playing with. I think the Epstein files are a psyop. I think it's a psychological operation that's happening on the American people. And I think that while we're talking about Epstein files, because once again, we know what humans are capable of. You and Angie both listen to these podcasts and documentaries before you go to bed.
That's not tonight. Last night I listened to Asmer.
So if we know that these things happen, it's not that I want to deny or ignore the allegations and the victimization. It's just like the Epstein files, like, no one can eat them. I sent you a screenshot this morning of a friend that I have in my Facebook network whose monthly premiums for his healthcare have gone up or projected to go up from $600 monthly,
already
which is
a lot.
Already crazy, right?
Yeah.
To $3,200. And the Epstein files cannot treat cancers and major illness. And the Epstein files cannot clothe people and house people and feed people. So I have a hard time talking about it. I'm glad that you brought it today so that we could center it and kind of, have a conversation around it. But I have a hard time giving it all of the entertainment value. And I use that language very intentionally. I have a hard time giving it entertainment value because I know that it is distracting us from larger issues that are a matter of life and death to so many Americans.
Right. And I think that, like, there's this kind of like, and I don't want to say these people shouldn't. We're going to let that try to go back to sleep. There's this sense of like, if we just get all of the bad apples out, or if we just punish them, like, the world will be better. And like, the punitive justice that we have is actually part of the problem. And so, like, the whole thing for me, like, while I understand that victims want justice and I understand the power in sharing their stories, this sensationalized version of it doesn't feel like it's going to do any of that. Like, it doesn't feel like it's going to feed the people. It doesn't feel like it's going to make the victims feel any better. Like,
America's interesting in that they talk about justice and punishment a lot, but they don't actually follow through on it.
Right.
Because we will keep you all posted in the pod, and we will keep ourselves abreast, a leg and a thigh about what's going on. But will we see justice for those victims in the next 20 years?
No. Is Trump still going to be president when it comes out and his name is in it? Yes. Right? Like, somebody on Threads was like, you knew who he was in 2016, you knew who he was in 2020, and you knew who he was in 2024. We know.
Talk about how people are addicted to the chaos.
Yeah.
It sells. It sells.
It does.
It sells. The other day I saw a video on Threads where people were analyzing the hand movements of that king to be that he was having conference with in the Oval.
Oh, I was like, who?
The one who,
I don't remember his name.
The one whose regime killed Khashoggi.
Mm-hmm.
The journalist. Yeah. Kind of like a once again, craziest season of scandal.
Craziest season. I thought that was the realist tweet thread, whatever you want to call it.
My former NYC dentist of TV fame is scantily clothed on the internet again. I just wanted to show you all his black boy joy and his derriere before refreshing the feed. May you be blessed, Dr. Markel. Thank you for keeping my teeth clean when I was famous. King Niko says, vibing to music is one of the best forms of therapy. How do you feel about that, Tara? Our musician who at times says that you don't even like listening to music.
Yeah, I actually pretty rarely listen to music. Like, and by rarely, like, I will turn on lo-fi in co-working if someone else is present. Like, that's... I did listen to a little bit of Christmas music yesterday, but I quickly got bored with it. I don't disagree with the thread. I think it's an awesome thing to do. I love having dance parties with my kid. Like, that is one of my favorite things to do. But I also, because I am so deep in like musical theory and my brain is constantly like, as a voice teacher, your brain, when you listen to voices specifically, it's like you're listening not only for the good things, but for like the problem things or the things that could be fixed. And so then it just gets distracting and then you're always in the brain of work. So that's part of why I don't listen to music, specifically with words, because I'm constantly like turning on the work brain, and I like to be in my creative brain a little bit more often. Like I don't need to be in that brain all the time. So I agree that the vibe is awesome. And like I said, I love dance parties with my kiddo. My husband and I used to have dance parties in the kitchen and still do to some point. Like we do that a lot. Like I love that, you know. And Dr. Flo and I often vibe in co-working to the Jason Lewis. Shout out to Jason Lewis on YouTube and his upbeat lo-fi with the animals in the middle. Like it's a bop, okay? Like that's a bop. And so I don't disagree with it. I just also, my ears get tired. Like my ears and my brain get tired, and that's why I don't necessarily turn on like the music that y'all would expect.
Yeah, you do audio and listen to people as a profession. It's sometimes on the weekend, and more so these current weekends, I will go underground and Tara will be like, where'd you go? But it's because I'm constantly listening to people and I'm constantly coaching people. I'm in meetings all the time. I'm constantly producing music now. And
as long as you keep the snap streak, rest.
Oh my God. Yes, as long as I keep the beloved snap streak. New York City fitness trainers going viral for standing outside McDonald's and convincing people not to go in, then taking them to a healthier spot. The quote on the carousel says, "I'll pay for your lunch if we go somewhere healthier." How do you feel about that?
Okay, so here's the deal. We know a lot of people, and I just thought about Snapchat, y'all, so I'm getting my Snapchat ready to do my behind the scenes when Flo takes back over again. But we have this obsession collectively with quote unquote health. And this is just my reminder that y'all don't know what the fuck is healthy for anybody else in the world. Like literally, you only know your body and you only know how to feel your own body. Hi, Snapchat. Hello, Snapchat. We're talking about healthy bodies. So like, while yes, like McDonald's is not like maybe the best option, it is an option that is affordable. And until we're going to talk about the actual cost of healthy food and the cost of the nutrients that every single one of our bodies needs, and the barriers to getting that, you know, like I don't like locking people out of a McDonald's or a Walmart or ragging on them for shopping at places that you privileged rich people are not shopping because you're boycotting. You know, I is eating McDonald's every day healthy? Probably not, but I don't know your body. And frankly, neither do your doctors. So, that's my speech on that.
My doctor in North Carolina told me good luck when I moved to a different state. But I recognize that I can get really low out-of-pocket health care for my needs from Amazon. That's what we discovered this week. All right, so we're going to keep going. I'm going to wave at everybody over on Tara's Snapchat. You're loved and lovable. You've always been loved and lovable. You're always going to be loved and lovable. Thank you for tuning in to Deconstruction Junction with Love and Action Network. Amazing. Let's see. The broke black girl 10 minutes ago said, never assume love automatically means alignment.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. I think that plays right into that quote that we love of thinking the same and moving in the same direction is a cult, and thinking differently and moving in the same direction is a movement. There has to be an allowance for people to think differently. And it doesn't mean you don't love someone, right? It doesn't mean that you can't be in community with them. It doesn't mean that you can't be. I heard somebody on TikTok the other day was talking about like how everybody wants to be in a village, but nobody wants to be a villager. And I thought that was also an interesting concept. I'll have to go back and like find the video because I don't remember what this lady said. But I just think like it's interesting the way that we like. I remember this, like high school never ends, so you know, whatever. But I remember in high school when people were like, well, if he doesn't like your friends, like you can't date him. If he doesn't want to do all the things that you want to do, you shouldn't date him. He doesn't love you. I was like, not true. Like that's like not true. Like my husband and I like very different things. Very different things. I do not like the movies he likes. The only movies we agree on are Transformers, Marvel, and then we watch Stranger Things together. Like, oh, and Ghost Adventures. Okay, so like we have a few things, but like
I'll sleep to Ghost Adventures. We did a Ghost Adventures watch party as a double date. Poppy, myself, Tara, and Ross. The worst fake ass experience on the planet. Like it's not even real.
It could be real, just like Atlantis.
Be entertained. Be entertained. I don't yuck your yum.
So I believe it's real for him. But anyway, like you like Ross and I have been together for almost 12 years in holy shit, 12 years in May. Like that's a long time. And I personally think it's great that we don't have the same interests and we don't have the same like he doesn't necessarily love to talk about politics. He doesn't like to talk about race relations. He doesn't like to talk about social justice. He likes to do weird voices on TikTok and play Brookhaven on Roblox. You know, like he's a gamer. Like that's him.
Shout out to Brookhaven. It's one of my favorite places to go and play for sure.
I don't know anything about it. I've never played it a day in my life. Y'all have yet to convince me of that one.
Have you ever gone to Brookhaven? Because I can take you there. So we're going to get on the calendar sometime in the next week, and I'm going to take you on a trip through Brookhaven. I also haven't taken you to Universal Studios yet, where my job is. You don't know about the cafe that I work in.
The airplane game. But if I do all of that for you on our date, you must play skee ball with me.
God, this like it's the bargaining part of grief.
Says the guy that made me download the app to play.
Roblox?
No, skee ball is on Play-Doh.
Oh yes. We can play. I like that. We can do that as long as it's on the calendar and everything's aligned. Yes. I both love and care about the fun
during
that we
football
have
next week. Because there's football for like 14 days because Thursday there's games, Friday there's games, and Sunday there's games because it's Thanksgiving weekend.
When is Thanksgiving this upcoming week? I don't know.
literally Thursday. It's literally in 6 days.
That's right. It's always Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it always on a Thursday?
Yes, it's also my my grandpa's birthday this year, so I will be making the strawberry cake. Rest in peace, Grandpa. Love you.
On the black hand side or the white hand side?
White hand side. Grandma Dolores's husband.
The veteran.
Grandpa Wally.
Rest in power, Grandpa Wally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, this happened last week, and like I was mentioning earlier, but the government shutdown ended. The Democrats caved, gave the Republicans everything they wanted because the Democrats are no different. And they don't want to stand up to fascism, so they just caved. And they're all people that are not up for re-election, or they're retiring. So they're like in no danger of their seats, which is why they did it.
They got paid extra retirement funds.
Yeah, it's gross. And so the government is back, which means that certain orgs that like I didn't even know were not working are back, right? Which is great. And some of those stories about the military having to go to food banks, like their checks are coming in. And I don't know what happened with the bill. Like Trump had said something about like there was going to be no back pay, but that got caught up in the courts, and so I don't know if back pay is actually going to be paid, but there's a potential.
I know from a personal anecdotal from someone that I engage in the community, they are being paid, but back pay has not been released yet.
Gotcha. Okay. And I think I have
propaganda of them paying $10,000 lump sum payments to TSA and things like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's for the propaganda machine.
I think so too. I don't think that's actually happening. Trump is also trying to give us all $2,000 for tariffs. Oh, this is not a thread. This was from some article. I don't remember what article. But it's basically yeah. Okay. So like we were talking about earlier with the ACA and the premiums going up, this is what Democrats caved to. So Representative Rosa DeLauro, Democrat from Connecticut, during remarks on the House floor vote before the vote, said some people will see their monthly insurance premiums double or even triple because of the lack of protection for the added ACA subsidies. She said more than 2 million Americans are expected to lose their health plans next year because it is just too expensive. DeLauro said that Johnson, the House Speaker, has shown no interest in holding a vote on the ACA subsidies, despite Senate Republicans saying that was the plan. And so essentially the Democrats jumped on in the Senate because the Senate Republicans were convinced that there was going to be some additional vote on the ACA in December that was going to vote on the subsidies. And of course, that is probably not going to happen. And so essentially, we're in this situation where, and we have a friend of the network who also is, kind of in a precarious situation where they're
precarious is a light word for it. Like they could potentially die if they're not aided.
The premium is going up to an amount that is unfeasible for them, and the medication that keeps them alive is $22,000 per month without insurance. And so like that's real, y'all. Like, so that's what I was saying at the top of this. Like when we're talking about SNAP benefits being restored and we're talking about some of these things with government funding coming back into effect, that doesn't mean people are still aren't still going to need help. We got to keep being vigilant about it, because these situations are going to become the norm. Like all those GoFundMes we saw, in the last major cut of ACA, like there's going to be more. So that's that. That's what the Democrats compromised. It was not their shutdown. It was the Republican shutdown, but the Democrats caved. So that is
because they're compromising their bought.
Mm-hmm.
Back to threads we go. Let's hit the casino button and see what it spits out. Oh yeah. That's my For You page. They called you difficult because you stopped abandoning yourself to make them comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
eye candy.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, yes.
Does he have gray hair?
Yes.
Wow. Wow. What a time.
What a time to be alive. Normalize not having to be indigenous to advocate for indigenous people.
Agreed. I think that can be everyone. Can be applied to everyone. You know? Normalize not being black and advocating for black people. Normalize not being trans and advocating for trans people.
This is crazy. This is AI too.
I was going to say, that has to be AI. That shit's crazy. Have you seen the AI slop where they're like, it's like a cake that looks the same as the animal and they slice it and the animal like starts screaming? Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I have.
That's crazy.
That's hilarious to me. Oh my God. Oh my God. I love AI slop though. I'm not even gonna lie. And here is Michelle Obama. Taken by Annie Leibovitz. I love her in her carefree era.
I do too. I like these jeans. I would like to know where the jeans are from.
I love the boot heel. I love the belt. I love her just not having to be scrutinized by strangers she doesn't know.
Agreed.
She's very intelligent.
I love this era of Michelle because it's very truth-telling. I mean, she's been truth-telling for a long time, but like the thing last week that was like, somebody like asked her about becoming president or like running for president or something. And she was like, y'all gotta stop. You don't actually want me to be president. And she's right.
Stop lying.
She's right.
She said Americans are not ready for that. Y'all need to stop lying.
Right.
Be for real.
Stop it. Cut it out.
Let's see what else we got in here in the For You page. I gotta go back up here and look at this guy again. Jesus.
Oh my God.
Actually, let me just save this for later. There we go. I know exactly what to do with that.
Now, there begs the question, do you ever go back to your saved folder?
I can't even open my saved on this open live. But yes. Yes. This is crazy. There is evidence for God. 855 Find Truth is what it says. This is a billboard that's up somewhere in the country. There's evidence for God, and they want you to call the number 855 Find Truth. And then there's a scripture there, Romans 1:20. Let me see what it says. Romans 1:20 says, oh wow. Romans 1:20 states that God's invisible qualities, specifically his external power, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly visible and understood through the things he has made since the creation of the world. This leaves all people without excuse for not knowing or acknowledging God. This is one of the pro-life scriptures, I guess. And anyway, there's a baby that's, for those of you listening on the podcast, there's a baby that is on the billboard. Mohanad El-Sheikhi said, I called the number and argued with this baby for an hour.
I hope it was an entertaining conversation. I'm sure it was. I'm sure the baby, because that baby's probably just
it's business. Protector Energy says you're not hard to love. They just not ready.
Yeah,
I agree. You're not hard to love.
Right.
They're just not ready. And that's okay.
Agreed.
Wow. What an interesting topic that you brought today.
I titled it this because I knew that Flo would say that. Y'all.
Speaking of Romans 1:20.
This is actually a thread that Flo quoted in a Clubhouse room that I had shared. So you can show them the thread. It's the next. All right. So this says, the picture says, fear is what if, faith is even if. And the caption from somebody, Radis Eudukaitis, Sure. Says swap. What if it goes wrong? For even if it does, I'll handle it. I'll read that one more time. Swap. What if it goes wrong? For even if it does, I'll handle it. And I think that goes back to the top of the pod when we were talking about like why people don't make moves or why people don't start their podcasts, etc. Like, I think this is it, right? Because fear says, what if? But faith says, even if. And it's that ever so popular self-trust that makes the difference. You know?
You got to really believe in yourself. Well, you ain't got to do shit. You ain't got to do shit.
You can do what you would like.
Whatever you like.
Yeah.
The invitation is for you to trust yourself enough that no matter what happens in your current circumstance, you're going to make it through.
Right.
You know, that's the last piece there. Even if it does, I'll handle it. Even if everything goes wrong, everything gets stripped from me. You know, some of you all know about what Poppy and I were going through in our last housing situation. I had to completely surrender to those assholes. It was like, even if they come here and burn the house to the ground or turn off the lights again or call me some name in the car, you know, kill the witch. Even if that happens, like, I'll be able to handle it. And I'm reminded, and I have talked about this in our peer support spaces, of my life many moons ago as a former flight attendant. And I was a flight attendant after 9/11, where they allegedly, even though I don't really believe in 9/11, it's not that I don't believe in 9/11. Don't send me an email. It's that I don't think it went down the way that we think it went down. And I think those people are also on an island somewhere.
There was a lot of propaganda surrounding it. Those people might be the people that they're talking about on the, y'all seen that one show where they all get on the plane and then they like go somewhere and then they come back? Y'all know what I'm talking about.
We talked about it earlier. It's Area 51. I think that the planes that hit the towers were not manned. I don't think they were manned, and I don't think that they had people on them. I don't think any of the planes that day in 9/11 had people on the planes. Were there people in the buildings who lost their lives in New York City and DC and what have you? Yes. I don't think there was anybody on those planes. I think the people who were on those planes are with Jeffrey. And they're sitting at their lunch table going, or they're sitting in a federal penitentiary in the States in the lunchroom going, you know who that is, right? That's Jeffrey Epstein. He'll never see his family again, too.
I was giggling, y'all, because Jeffrey is just such a, like, it's such a regular name, you know? And it's just like, Jeff.
That's Jeff.
And then it's like, oh my God.
He really likes the green Jell-O. The one with the little of whipped topping on. Yeah, he really likes that. And so does Cindy. She was on the second plane that hit the towers, you know. And once again, not to be insensitive to those who suffered and got subsequent illnesses from 9/11, what have you. Our views and opinions are my own and Tara's own and are not reflective of anybody that we are in professional or personal relationships with. A lot of the people that we are in relationships with don't care about any of this and don't want to talk about it out loud and would rather tell you what they want on top of their pizza.
How many people in our network say ceasefire now?
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
But that's because they're fighting themselves.
Right.
And ever since we stopped fighting ourselves, we stopped fighting each other. So there's a wideness in the grace and mercy of life.
Right.
But yeah, because I was a post 9/11 flight attendant, I was quite aware that people could put bombs in their shoes or take a box cutter and try to harm us all at 30 to 40,000 feet. So I'd have to wake up every morning and know that no matter what happened, if someone decided to have a baby on the plane, if I had to subdue someone, if I had to throw someone off the plane before we, like, no matter what happened in that particular day, I was going to have to navigate it with grace, with confidence, and with courage. And at some point, that guy kind of faded into the shadows, and I'm just now reclaiming that energy of if it goes wrong,
I got this.
We'll deal with it as it comes. And not trying to be so many steps ahead in my overthinking that I catastrophize for things that are not happening. One of the best pieces of advice that my therapist gave me was deal with people and their actions alone. If they do something to you, then respond to the action. If they don't do anything to you, then let it rock.
Right.
And so I'm not reactive in that I'm waiting around for people to do things, but if things pop off, if and when they pop off, we'll face it in the moment. I'll know exactly how to respond because I trust myself. Big, big, big deal. Faith in action. Love in action. Let's hit the casino one more time. I think it's like the third one and final one. Give it up one more time for like, that's just, and I like my guys to have a little more meat on their bones than this. A little too lean for me, but I mean, eye candy's eye candy. Z Perk K says being a contrarian doesn't make you an intellectual.
It's like that person that came on and said, I have an MM piano performance. Okay, girl. Okay, girl.
Just because you feel different. I mean, people like, oh my God, folks in their opinion, they really think that having an opposing view or having a negative opinion actually makes them special. Like, if you're a negative human, get in line.
Right. Or if you have a differing positive opinion, you know, like we can have differing opinions. It's very, yeah, but it is very annoying. The contrarian, yes, I agree with that thread.
People that like their whole personality is just going in the different direction than alignment.
Right, than the mainstream or than the thing that's going to help them. Right.
I don't mind going against mainstream if mainstream is doing evil things or not helping everybody. But people who just want to be different, you know, you knew that we were all one pizza. You don't have a thing against pizza, but yet you now suddenly want Arby's.
I do want Arby's.
For attention. Are you allowed to have Arby's right now?
Why not?
You have a thing with, I mean, shaved meat.
You can't say that on here.
Can't say shaved meat. Does that remind you of the last slide? Desi gentleman in Toronto with his clothes off.
I like the curly fries.
But you can't have turkey right now. You can't have the turkey meat. So I figured that the roast beef was off.
Talk about this because it's not public.
Oh my God. Yeah. Dietary restrictions. Dietary restrictions. Ronnie Bryan says, no one wants to humble you more than someone from your own city that has watched you evolve. How do you feel about that?
I don't think it's even just from your own city. I think.
Who are the people in your life that have tried to humble you?
Oh, lots. Teachers. I'll give y'all the one that I always remember, which is my 8th grade math teacher. Her name was Miss Gilardi. Okay. And the class, we were a class of very smart kids. It was advanced math. And y'all remember like the overhead paper? Okay, like the clear stuff, and they would write with a little marker and they put it on the overhead. And
Yes.
She was like writing things. First of all, she spelled the word booger wrong. Second of all, she did the math problem incorrectly. And so we were all like, you spelled booger wrong and the math problem is incorrect.
I was the teacher spelling booger on the overhead projector.
I think it was a word problem. Like it was like something like that. Anyway,
the Harold thing.
Yeah, I don't. That's usually not the wake up sign, so we're just gonna let that settle down a little bit, and then I'll go get the kid. But yeah, she really tried to tell us that we were not as smart as her. I think she literally was like, "I am the teacher. You all are not as smart as me. Just listen." And we were all like, "But the problem, like you solved the problem wrong. That's the wrong answer." And she was like, no, I'm not wrong. And so that last person, there was a broadcast teacher at the same school who almost got himself reported because he did my arm, which is not appropriate.
What is a broadcast teacher?
Literally, have I never talked about this? I took like a broadcast journalism class in 8th grade.
This tracks.
We were in like a media lab with the computers and the microphones and like learn how to write journalism and like deliver it and like create TV. Anyway, yeah, it was a thing. It was a thing. He was mean and I was good at stuff. And so he did not, I've had a lot of male teachers in my life that have decided that since I am female, I must not be intelligent. And if I am intelligent, they need to take me down a peg. Like my high school teacher that tried to give me a D, and my dad went angry black man.
I'm going to ask you, like, what percentage of teachers do you think have a superiority complex as it relates to the students they teach and the students in the building, and really wield that as something that people should be intimidated by?
I think because schools are based as factories and prisons, I think that there is an overwhelming amount of teachers that are on power trips for whatever reason.
A corrections officer. Like you essentially just called public school teachers correctional officers.
Many of them. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, moly. All right, y'all. For future thoughts from Tara Paolo, go to
tarapriolo.com/links. You can join my Substack where I share my morning yaps. Those of you that have been looking for those on Instagram, Instagram's a hater. So I'm sharing less of my face and videos, my own videos in my stories, and instead sharing them on my Substack and on my feed. So that is where you'll find that stuff.
She is amazing. One of the last threads that I'll share today, which I find to be amazing.
Is it going to be the
It's not about the turkey because I'm not talking about meat anymore on this podcast.
Okay, but I want to tell you something about meat. One of my students last night was talking about how she's going to cook the turkey. She's going to cook a turkey for the first time. They bought a house a couple months ago. She's going to cook turkey for the first time. Apparently, there's a way that you can do this without like shoving the butter under the skin. You can just fill a cheesecloth with butter and like smush it on top of the turkey. And it like perfectly browns the turkey. I learned something yesterday. I've never made a turkey because the only part of the turkey that I like is the leg, and it must be smoked. So I don't make turkeys. I make Cornish hens.
Sell turkey legs by themselves where you shop?
They do, but I would rather have a Cornish hen.
Yes, I do recall this. I do recall this tradition.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to get the baby out of bed.
Okay. Hey, Corey Allen says, some conversations are invitations to exhaustion. Decline softly. Some conversations are invitations to exhaustion. Decline softly. I want to remind everybody, you don't have to have any conversations you don't want to have. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Stay in your freedom and power. We're coming to a close of this podcast. We have been calling for ceasefire forever. Not only in the world, but in our hearts and in our communities. And so if you're out there and you are in internal struggle or external struggle, we invite you to ceasefire. This is Tara's share, but I'm going to do it for her while she goes and gets baby. It's me, Maud Holly, says,
I am seeing that 69,000, I think people is supposed to be there, were murdered in El Fasher. I think that's how you say it, y'all. In 10 days. 10 days. 10 fucking days. 69,000 beautiful humans gone forever. 10 days in Sudan. Can we please stop and look?
That's wild. Like, 69,000 people don't live in my neighborhood.
Exactly.
That'd be the equivalent of like the whole neighborhood being just wiped away, multiple neighborhoods being wiped away. And the spiritual people, that's including the religious, allegedly, they're not holding space for this. They're not talking about this. And I'm wondering why. While also having ideas of my own about how to remember this. You know, a huge component of the healing gatherings and the love experiences are about like remembering these fallen, innocent humans. Oh, God.
Right. I will say that one thing about there isn't a ceasefire in Palestine, no matter how many people try to tell you that, no matter what Trump says, no matter what Netanyahu says, there is no ceasefire there. But one of the things about that not being in the news or being in the spaces quite as much is that we're starting to see more and more stories about Sudan and Congo. And I think that's very important, that we can turn some eyes towards those two countries. Of course, there are always more countries that are at war, and, you know, genocides are happening in at least 5 places on the planet, and starvation is happening, et cetera, et cetera. And so I just think it's important for everybody to keep your eyes up, folks.
Want us to go to work, go to school, carry on like none of this is happening. It's very bizarre. But we speak the names of those people and we remember them, and we honor life here. And some of the ways that we honor life is through our programs. One of which is Adopt a Black Artist, Inquire Within. The daily peer support programs happening at present at 11 a.m. Eastern and 7 p.m. Eastern daily. Also, admin and support services through Love City Arts Creative Services Group. For those of you who may be feeling overwhelmed or burnt out or don't know quite where to start with your dream or how to reimagine your future, this morning we had a guest over on my Instagram Live, and she said to me, I have all of these revelations and all of these things that, you know, these aha moments that have come to me. I don't know what to do next. And I was like, oh, I know a guy who knows a guy named Dr. Flo who will be able to help you with that. So if you're looking for support services as it relates to your dream and wanting help with the tangible effects of the manifestation of your dream, we have admin and support services here on almost at a Pickles cameo. I'm also hiring right now for Dr. Flo and the Love Experience and other programs. If you are looking to be part of something bigger than yourself as we unite the talents of diverse artists to celebrate the power of love through music, theater, and art, just drop us a line. My online phone number is 404-585-1278, 404-585-1278. I'm also available via email at askdrflo@gmail.com. That's askdrflo@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you if you're interested in partnering with the making of magic and the upliftment of the hearts of the people. And part of it's going to look like this. And oh, goodness me, I want to encourage you all to go to lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link, gee willikers, over at lovedandlovable.bio.link, because there is a new flagship track, the Loved and Lovable anthem, the live demo has gone out. It is a seed in the ground for all of our encouragement programming coming out for the next 20 years. And if you're interested in listening to the track and perhaps donating to the cause, just go to the website and click the top link. Would love for you to hear the music. It's just one of many things coming out. It has reinvigorated my creative spark, and I'm having a blast manifesting this particular human that you see on the screen. For those of you listening, it's just an AI picture of me in front of a large inspirational choir, and this is where I'm going. Encouragement or bust. Tell them about what you got going on as you are leaving.
Right, as we're running from the baby, literally. So y'all, I've talked about this for a couple weeks in a row. TPS Community Commons is a WhatsApp community, and there is liberation conversations as well as Blackening the Canon and a group vocal chat. It's soon coming memberships, etc., for voice lessons. Then today is actually the first day of the Black Business Blitz. If you are a Black business or you know a Black business, I posted yesterday. Feel free to put it in the comments of either yesterday's or today's post so that I can feature some blackness. And let's turn Black Friday, instead of supporting the big box stores, into supporting. My child found the coffee lids, y'all. Into supporting Black businesses and Indigenous businesses instead. So the last thing is happening today at 5 p.m. Yes, Freedom Fridays is still happening. No, I haven't posted about it in a couple weeks. I'm so glad I have a substitute teacher today because I am not 100%. Dr. Flo is teaching Stepping into Your Promised Land, Navigating Your Dreams in the Face of Self-Doubt, Toxic Shame, and Chronic Grief. You can go ahead and go to tarapriolo.com/links. You can RSVP. It'll put it on your Google Calendar, and you will be able to join Piper at 5 p.m. Eastern. It will also be recorded and go up on the platforms later. And I believe Flo said he would be live on TikTok as well. So that is what's happening in TPS.
Timed at an hour and 7 minutes to the landing place of Deconstruction Junction. My magnesium beverage is feeling so good to me. I slow sipped and slow sipped throughout this, and I feel so relaxed, so unbothered, so unstressed. All is well. All is well. Everything is working out for our highest good, and out of this situation, only good must come to us, and we are safe. And while we acknowledge that safety is something that we have to give to ourselves in this world, there are people, such as those in Love and Action Network, who are looking to provide a safe place for you to land digitally and in real life. So if you're interested in what we've been working on today and you want to step into clarity, confidence, and transformation, go to lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link. Tara, how do you feel about today's gathering and about where life is taking you?
Well, one of the things that I appreciate about this pod is that we're able to get things into a bite-sized chunk. And I know an hour seems like a long time to y'all, some of y'all, but like truly with all the things going on in the world, that's a pretty good amount of time. And I just want to thank people for spending that time with us every week, because it is one of our most popular offerings, even against the daily boost that is, 2 to 5 minutes long. So I am excited to continue it, and I am excited to see where it all goes. And I hope you all look for the joy in your lives today and share it with someone. Share it with somebody. Yeah. That's all. That's all.
Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I think that you're amazing. Don't forget, as always, to stay in your power, to stay in your joy, and to stay loved and lovable. And on behalf of Tara Praolo and her studio, Poppy Water and the House of Mommy Water, and myself, Dr. Flo. Thanks for watching, and we appreciate you all. Listen, we're in over 2 years of daily and semi-daily amplification of positive energy. And we recognize that what you put out into the world comes back to you. So thank you for listening. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you for speaking up. Thank you for waking up to how awesome you are. And if no one's told you yet today, if you choose it to be, your future is bright, joyous, and secure. Take care.